So Unicorn Overlord is a game that you might have heard of, or maybe not, but regardless, there has been quite a bit of hype around this game as another possible Tactics Ogre, Fire Emblem, or Triangle strategy. The gameplay somehow manages to be quite different from those games, while also being very similar. What I mean is, well, let's dig into it. So, story-wise, Unicorn Overlord plays out like a beautiful visual novel with themes that will be very familiar to fans of tactics RPGs. A conquered kingdom, an exiled prince, an evil emperor, and a plucky resistance army trying to bring that emperor down. Within this overarching plot are several side stories, character interactions, and decisions with lasting consequences. There is indeed plenty of story elements to engage with, and from what I've seen so far, they are well choreographed and voice acted, which really brings this game to life in a way that reminds me very much of Triangle Strategy and its story and characters. Now, as far as the actual gameplay goes, at first, a real-time system where battles play out automatically doesn't really sound like something that would appeal to typical tactical RPG players who are used to moving individual units on a grid in a turn-based system. However, when you begin to realize that each unit you build, which consists of several characters, is essentially the same thing as those individual units in other games, just on a macro scale, you can start to see the parallels. In fact, building these units is a very fun way of customizing your army to your playstyle and taking advantage of the strengths and weaknesses of the various units in the game. For instance, soldiers can use their spears to pierce enemy lines and hit units that are on the same line with each other, or thieves can be put on the front lines and use their high evasion to waste enemy attacks, while a hard-hitting unit can be in the back line ready to swoop in and deal major damage after the enemy misses with their attacks. Cavalry are uber powerful versus infantry, archers can snipe flying and backline units, and mages can heal or deal damage from the rear. In fact, there are probably thousands of combinations you could use in your squads. The game will give you several recommendations early on, but I'm sure there are much more powerful combinations to discover. Alright, so we've seen how units are built, but what about how they deploy, move, and are upgraded, and so on? So, in each battle, we start with an HQ from which we can deploy our units up to our available Valor points. We gain more of these Valor points from defeating enemies and capturing strategic points on the map. These same Valor points are also used to activate special abilities on the map that each unit has available. These abilities can deal damage to enemies before directly engaging them, can buff allies with stronger attack power in a first strike, or even heal other units, just to name a few. Now, once a unit has deployed, we can issue commands to move, attack, garrison a landmark, and more. Each unit's movement speed depends on the unit's leader. If a cavalry character is the leader, then the whole unit will have increased movement speed over infantry-led units, but will be slowed down in forests. Units led by a flying unit will be able to easily move over obstacles like rivers to attack the enemy's fortifications or back lines. Now, while the game is real-time, there is a very convenient pause feature that will allow us to take our time to issue commands to our units, survey the battlefield, or deploy more units without having to rush around while the enemies are advancing. In fact, this system really helps you still control the flow of the game without feeling rushed, which can happen in some real-time strategy games. So even if you like the slower pace of turn-based tactics, I think you'll be surprised how similar Unicorn Overlord can feel to a turn-based game without actually being one. So we talked about deploying and issuing commands to our units, but can they be upgraded? The answer of course is yes, or this wouldn't be a proper RPG. Now, each character will individually gain new levels, have their own skills, and can be equipped with items bought from the various towns you'll liberate, but your actual units, your groups of characters, can be upgraded as well. You can use the fortresses in the regions you liberate to increase the number of characters allowed in your units, along with increasing the number of units you can deploy on the battlefield. To do this, you'll need to gain honors, which can be obtained by completing various quests and battles. You'll then spend these honors on these upgrades. But that isn't the only thing you'll use these honors for. You'll also need them to hire new units for your army. While there will be many story characters that will join you throughout the game, you may need to bolster your ranks with mercs hired from the fortresses. And something really cool here is that you actually get to set these mercs up with what class you want them to be, what you want their growth focus to be, and a few cosmetic choices as well. So while you don't get to directly control what stats each character will improve in, you at least have some control in setting their priority stats, essentially. So for instance, if you want a character to have high attack power, you can set that as their growth focus, and the game will automatically improve those stats faster than the rest of their stats. So I think this is a really cool idea, and could also lead to some interesting combinations with certain classes and growth stats. So we've covered the basics of building your army and fighting battles, but what about exploration? Unlike many tactics RPGs, you will actually move your character around the map in between battles for some light exploration. You'll be able to talk to NPCs, shop at towns you've liberated, recruit at fortresses, and even harvest resources that can be used to upgrade towns. Once a town is sufficiently upgraded, you can post one of your characters as a guard for it, which will allow it to auto-harvest the resources you've already harvested in that area once they are replenished. So you won't need to go back to areas you've already been once you've grabbed all the resources once, and upgrade the town, which is nice. Essentially, you'll have maybe 5 or 6 minutes of exploration between each battle, helping to pace the game and give us something else to do from time to time. Now, the demo for Unicorn Overlord is available now if you want to check it out yourself, and it's quite a generous demo as well, giving you about 7 hours of time in game. I'm just over 4 hours in and haven't yet hit any progression walls or end of the demo, so I'm not sure if there is one or we actually have the full 7 hours and however far we can get in that time, but I've really been enjoying the demo and I think this game has the potential to be another big hit. I'd encourage any tactical RPG fan to try it out, as I was pleasantly surprised how quickly the game got me engaged despite being a little different from a traditional tactics RPG. If you want to see more of this game, let me know in the comments and fire away any questions you might have. I'm pretty intrigued with this one and I'll probably be covering it some more in future videos, so check back for those probably in early March when the game releases. While you wait though, you can check out this video here, and thank you so much for watching, have a great day, and keep on gaming.